Hi people, how are you all? I hope you're all doing well. Final video, yay! Now we're going to talk about the research paper, the big one, the massive one, the one that I'm sure is making you want to hit the panic button, which is why I've put that picture on the first slide. Really, my mind just fell out of my head when I was trying to put this one together, so this is best as I could come up with was a massive pile of books and a panic attack moment. And then, of course, writing up your work, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to be sort of feeling the heat when it comes to writing this particular final task for HSP404. On that note, without further ado, it is due at the end of week 13 on the Friday as per usual, and it needs to be uploaded by midnight. The exact due date is available for you on the Milo site. It is 5,000 to 6,000 words, excluding your reference list, and it's weighted at a whopping 50%. So it is, it's a high stakes assessment item. It's designed to make you work and think. So the research paper really shows your grasp of the underpinning concepts of your chosen topic area. Issues related to institutional policy, if that's what you're doing, and following on from those first assessment tasks of 1 and 2, you need to be able to answer your research question, basically, and that may have changed a little bit depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. And of course, show us what the findings are from your research. Your dot point outline will help you with actually structuring this piece, but again, it may have changed since you've done it at the beginning. Your workplace subject matter expert will be your primary contact for this assessment task. Having said that, if you're not doing a work-based project, then your academic advisor will be your primary contact for this task. They'll also help you with finalising anything like the basic structure, questions about formatting, all of those types of things as you're working through this one. And as per usual, you need to reference it according to the style that you've chosen. So if you're doing a work-based project, you'll need to talk to your workplace advisor about the subject matter in the first instance. If you're doing a research one, then it'll be your UTAS academic advisor. And you'll need to talk to both or one of those, depending on what you're doing, in terms of how to structure your overall task. Some general tips, as per usual. Using the third person is preferred, but it's okay if there's a little bit of flexibility in there. You need to base your research paper around answering your research question. Again, it may have changed since you started. Think carefully about how you can structure your final research paper so you're making an argument all the way through your response, your vertical thread, which is something I talk about in the core skills stuff. Where required, you'll need to make sure that you need to have at least one reference per paragraph. Think about what we talked about in the literature review video. It's a no-brainer if you've got one paragraph that doesn't have a reference in it, but think really carefully. Should there be one in there? Is it just me talking about, what somebody said, for instance? Check the marking rubric. It'll tell you how many you need. Remember that you've already determined what has been written on the topic in your lit review. Sometimes you might need to have a quick sketch of that, a very quick sketch to set up your overall research paper, but that is not the focus. So make sure that you structure your work accordingly. Again, some general tips based around what you're doing about whether or not you're making an academic argument that we need to do research, or whether or not you're doing a business case for more resources, analysing a core policy in the workplace, or conducting an evaluation or actual research, empirical research. All of these things will mean that you're structuring your task in a different manner. So keep that in mind when you're doing the work. So a basic suggested structure, introduction, background context, and then your body of your research paper is going to be fairly massive. It can be anywhere up to 5,400 words. And of course, this will be determined by your academic advisor and or your workplace advisor, and depending on what your topic is and all of those types of things. You'll have a whole bunch of different subsections. I can't give you advice on this because it will depend on what you're doing. And then, of course, you'll have a conclusion, which might be a little bit bigger, so about 400 words or so as per the introduction too. List of references, referencing style of your choice. But of course that's excluded from the word count. As per usual, because this is a new task, we actually don't have any feedback to students. So I've got the smiling guinea pig there again. So yeah, make sure you're working very closely with your advisors to help you structure the task and so forth. So you'll need to have some sort of discussion of the literature, but it's very short. It's sort of setting up for the rest of your task. So that might be even in your background context that you put in there. It doesn't have to be very long. You'll be summarising your 2,000 word lit review that you did earlier, so it should be fairly straightforward for you. Then we need to talk through the contextualisation of theory to the organisational setting. What is your content that you're focused on in terms of your organisational and or research setting? Think about that really carefully, making sure that you've got your key points. Your adherence to your academic writing conventions, again, just very straightforward sort of stuff there around paragraphing, introductions, conclusions, fluent writing style, all of that jazz. And of course, you need to be able to apply your critical analysis. Analyse your implications of the practical applications of this thing that you're doing, be it the research that you've done, the research you're proposing, the evaluation that you're doing, the business case, whatever really. And of course, your strength of your conclusions that you are drawing. How much does it respond to the research questions, all of that sort of thing. Anyway, folks, that's it for the research paper. I hope that's helpful. Do get in touch and don't hesitate to do so if you've got any questions. And I will see you some point down the track. Good luck. Wishing you all the best. See you later.